Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on computer architecture and organization. In this lecture, we are going to see about a simple implementation scheme, the operation of the data path. The operation of the data path has been already discussed in the previous lecture. Here, let us recall that the input to the control unit is the 6-bit opcode field from the instruction. The outputs of the control unit consist of 3 1-bit signals that are used to control the multiplexers that are register DST, ALU SRC and memory to register, 3 signals for controlling reads and writes in the register file and data memory, register write, memory read and memory write, a 1-bit signal used in determining whether to possibly branch and a 2-bit control signal for the ALU, that is ALU OP. An AND gate is used to combine the branch control signal and the 0 output from the ALU. The AND gate output controls the selection of the next program counter. Notice that the PZSRC is now a derived signal rather than one coming directly from the control unit. This is the simple data path with the control unit. This shows the input to the control is the 6-bit instruction opcode field and output is 7 1-bit signals and the 2-bit ALU OP signal. So how can we determine the control signals for the MIPS data path based on the instruction opcode? So if you see this tabulation column, it tells us that we need to set the control signals as ones or zeros according to the instruction. If you see the R format, this register DST, register write and ALU opcode 1 that takes 1. And also we can say in another way, if the ALU OP code is 10, then the R format instructions will be executed. If it is 00, then load word or store word will be executed. If it is 01, then branch equal, that is the branch instructions will be executed. And memory to. So this figure shows the setting of the control lines that is completely determined by the opcode fields of the instruction. So this is relevant to the previous column, that is the previous tabulation that is shared in the previous slide. So if you see here, this R-type instruction, it requires 3 registers, that is 2 registers that reads the data and 1 provides the register number that is to be written. Okay, so if you see here, this ALU SRC is set to 0 here. And this operation field, that is the operation control signal, that is depends on the value that depends on the function field. So depending upon the function field, it selects whether it is either addition operation or subtraction operation or multiplication or division. And if you see here, this data memory is not used by this instruction. So neither memory read, neither memory write are used by this R-type instruction, hence it is set to 0. Again, this memory to register is set to 0. So this memory to register set to 0 in the sense the data will be directly flow from the ALU to the register. If you see here, we need to write the register, that is the register number that is specified by the instruction should be written by the result. Hence this register DST is set to 1. And register write is also set to 1 because we need to set this register write so that we can write the register. And PZSRC is a derived signal which doesn't take place any role here. It is set to 0 because if PZSRC will be set to 1 in case of the branching instructions. Always it will be used in branching instruction. Here it is of no use, hence it is set to 0 and the program counter is automatically incremented to its next sequential address. Coming to this point of control signals, store word instruction. So if we see here, This ALU SRC is set to 1 because we need to select it as 1. Now this operation, that is 0, 1, 0, performs the store operation, and this memory write is set to 1 here, memory read is 0, memory to register is don't care, and register TST is also a don't care here, and register write is set to 0, and PZSRC is also 0 here. If you see about the load word instruction, this ALU SRC is 1 here, so the multiplexer selects the 1 path. And next the operation is 0, 1, 0, and the memory write is 0, memory read is 1, memory to register is also 1 here, and register destination is DST is 0, and register write is 1 here. PZSRC is a derived signal which is 0 here. So implementing jumps. The jump instruction looks somewhat like a branch instruction, but computes the target program counter differently and is not conditional. Like a branch, the low order 2 bits of a jump address are always 0, 0 to the base 2. The next lower 26 bits of this 32-bit address come from the 26-bit immediate field in the instruction. The upper 4 bits of the address that should replace the program counter should come from the program counter of the jump instruction plus 4. Thus, we can implement a jump by storing into the program counter the concatenation of the upper 4 bits of the current program counter plus 4. So, these are the bits that is from 28 to 31st location of the sequentially following instruction address, the 26-bit immediate field of the jump instruction, the bits 0, 0 to the base 2. So this is how we implement the jump here. Here if you see, we need to compose the jump for this target address, that is composing jump target address, and we have added a new multiplexer with additional control bit jump. And if you see here, this data path executes the jump J. That's all for now. Thank you.